I had to be official because my daughter is in the audience and she was very excited about the gavel. Good evening, everyone. We have a lot of really wonderful, exciting programming for this evening, so I am going to jump right into it. Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, public notice of this meeting has been given by the board secretary in the following manner: posting written notice on the official bulletin board at the Voorhees Township Public Schools Administrative Building on July 8th, 2024, sending written notice to the Courier Post on July 8th, 2024, filing written notice with the clerk of Voorhees Township on July 8th, 2024, and posting on the Voorhees Township website on July 8th, 2024. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Will the board secretary please call the roll?
Mr. Bryce?
Here.
Ms. Kedover?
Here.
Mr. Rosen?
Here.
Mr. Rosner? Mrs. Rudder?
Here.
Mrs. Stewart?
Here.
Mrs. Stupler?
Here.
Ms. Verdi?
Here.
Mrs. Watson?
Here. We will not be going to executive session for the first session. We will be doing the second session for a very brief meeting. So we will move on to approving the minutes of the October 30th, 2024 regular meeting. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Online voting is open. Motion unanimously passes.
I have a couple of brief comments. First and foremost, I want to thank the entire Thagula family for being here to celebrate such an exciting and wonderful achievements of such a bright talent in our district. And I can't wait to hear all about it shortly, but thank you all for coming. I want to thank Chief Bordy for being here and April for joining us this evening. We are very excited to partner with you, but more importantly, we're excited to share some more information with the districts so that they understand how investigations go. As you all know, we are a technology-driven district, and sometimes, as with all technology, we all keep iPhones and iPads, and sometimes those don't work the way that we would like them to. And I wanted to call attention specifically to our last meeting. Unfortunately, the audio portion of our meeting was not captured. And as soon as we learned of this, we actually did a pretty thorough investigation. And I want to thank Bruce and Ashley and Chrissy for being so diligent and trying to uncover what the problem was. As with many things in technology, you can never pinpoint exactly what the issue is, but we think we've put a lot of good steps in place and a remediation plan. And one of those things is that Chrissy is joining our meetings live to ensure that she hears the meeting and that there is audio as well as video available, and that hopefully we capture it. But if you do happen to join our Zooms and you see any issues, please make sure you notify us so that we can try and rectify the issue as quickly as possible. With that, I am going to move into the rest of the information items. We have fire drills and safety drills as shown on the attachment. Harassment, intimidation, and bullying report is also on the attachment. We have suspensions also included on the attachments. We have a couple of, we have 4 OPRA requests that we received that have all been closed out. And now board secretary report.
Thank you. I just wanted to give an update on the work that was performed during the days that we were closed on November 7th and 8th. Mr. Mathis, Mr. Higgs, and the whole building and grounds department, they were on site working. Some of the big projects that were finished during those 2 days were the epoxy flooring that was poured in the new middle school vestibule. So the vestibule is 100% finished now, and it's really great. It has more safety features, and it took a little while to get it finished, but it got finished that weekend, but the epoxy had to dry over 3 days. The other thing is at the Performing Arts Center, The windows that we had there before were like the subway type windows, and they were there for many years. They were starting to break apart and leak. They've all been replaced. So there's new windows there that look beautiful. There was also uneven pavement over at Osage, and that was corrected. The uneven pavement was corrected, also the damaged sidewalk. There were other repairs that are done. We always take advantage of when the schools are empty. HVAC work and other maintenance on different alarms and fire extinguishers and so forth. But one thing that was really nice for the community is, unfortunately, there were a lot of forest fires during that same time period, and there were first responders over near the Signal Hill School. We were able to open the building for them so the firefighters could use our restrooms while they were over there working on putting out the fires. But our guys are always busy. Guys and ladies are always busy on our time off, and I just wanted to make sure I thank them in public and let you guys know what's going on. Thank you.
Okay. Moving to.
Hey, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to start my report off with something really, really special. We have a very special guest here this evening. His name is Trishab Thigola, and he's going to present a wonderful presentation for us, and we are so excited to have you here and your entire family. So thank you all for coming. I'm going to introduce Mr. Kramer, and he will come up and present our amazing student.
Right. All right. Good evening, Board of Education and Dr. Hackett, Mr. Moskowitz, Ms. Haley, and community members. Tonight, we are incredibly proud to celebrate Trishab Thigola, a remarkable fifth grader at Osage. His dedication and achievements in history, geography, and spelling inspire us all. And he truly embodies the spirit of curiosity and excellence that we value at our school. Trishab's love for history started at age 3 with an early interest in maps and navigation, which evolved into a deep love for history and geography. By age 5, he was navigating Google Maps, and soon after, his parents encouraged him to enter academic competitions. His talent and dedication have led him to the finals in national competitions and to significant achievements internationally. For example, at the third International Geography Championships in Vienna, Austria, he won 6 gold medals, including titles in multiple categories. Trishab's success is a true family effort, driven by incredible support he receives at home. His mother plays an integral role in balancing his academic pursuits, while his father has inspired his love for maps and history. His achievements reflect not only his own passion for learning, but also the encouragement and dedication of his family. Tonight, Trishab has proudly brought along the trophies and medals he earned this year at both national and international competitions. It's a true honor to see his incredible accomplishments on display, and they are all of his awards and trophies that he's gotten over the years. I would also like to share a slideshow showcasing his competitions and adventures, beginning in first grade, both home and abroad, with the international academic competitions and North-South Foundation for their regionals, national, and international competitions. All right. Oh, there we go. All right. Sorry, guys. The clicker's kind of, you have it? Go to the second one. Yep. Thanks. This past summer, Trishab was recognized for his outstanding accomplishments in the August 14th and to 20th edition of the Voorhees Sun. Some of you may have seen it. And in first and second grade, next slide, please. First, second grade, Trishab placed first and second in various junior history, geography, and spelling competitions. By third grade, Trishab was participating and placing in online, regional, and national competitions. By fourth grade, Trishab took on an even greater challenge by competing against students from 4th through 8th grade. Rising to the occasion, Trishab showcased outstanding knowledge and determination, securing first place in senior geography competition. In May 2024, Trishab participated in the International Academic Championships in Orlando, Florida, where he placed as champion 7 competitions. In July 2024, Trishab had the incredible opportunity to travel abroad and participate in the IAC 3rd International Geography Championships. Demonstrating exceptional skill and dedication, Trishab achieved remarkable success in both individual and team competitions. Now, there's also 2 pictures that we wanted to share with you. Trishab had the privilege of meeting the founder of the International Academic Competition on the left, and on the right, Trishab is leading the medal table with takeaways for 6 individual performances. Trishab's competitions have allowed him to enjoy the local flavors of Austria, Hungary, and Slovakia while exploring the rich culture and stunning landscapes of these countries. Trishab also embraced the opportunity to explore local culture in Budapest, Hungary, taking time to visit iconic landmarks such as the Liberty Bridge and the Heroes Square Millennium Monument. All right, and the last slide, Trishab, we are so proud of you. Now that you've learned a little bit about Trishab, his exciting competitions, and his adventures, he wants to share some of that experience with you. To do so, he's prepared a few thought-provoking questions for the group. So without further ado, let's see if you are up for the challenge. Are you smarter than a fifth grader? Trishab, come on up, buddy.
Firstly, I want to say thank you to the Board of Education for recognizing me for my achievements and inviting me to this event. I would like to thank my papa for teaching me maps during my kindergarten and my mom for sparking my love for competitions. Over the years, I have enjoyed going to these competitions, and there is no doubt that I'll continue going to them in the future. Now, do you have any questions, or may I ask you some questions to make this night more fun for everyone? Okay. Okay, let's start. This city's Uskiled Hill contains an exhibition hall that contains a replica of Latrabjarg, Europe's largest bird cliff. This city is served by Keflavik International Airport and contains a church with distinctive side wings called Hallgrímskirkja, the world's northernmost national capital. This is, for the point, what largest city of Iceland?
Reykjavik?
Correct, Reykjavik.
Oh, my goodness.
This company formerly ran properties called Westgate and Flamingo in Las Vegas. This company's namesake Beverly property hosts the Golden Globe ceremonies, and the Conrad Waldorf Astoria and Doubletree are brands run by this company. Founded by a man with the first name Conrad, this is, for the point, what American hotel company? Correct, Hilton. Hilton Hotels and Resorts. Okay, now this Chinese province includes the cities of Yushu, Shaoguan, and Zhanjiang. This province includes the Lake Zhou Peninsula. This province is home to tech companies like Vivo and Oppo. Name this most populous Chinese province based on the Pearl River and the Yu languages, which has cities like Dongguan, Foshan, and its capital, Guangzhou or Canton.
I don't know.
You got us.
Guangdong.
Good job.
Okay. This city was founded by King Rama I. This city's founding site is found on the Kao Phraya River's right bank on Ratanakosin Island. This city's name is Guinness's world's longest place name with 168 letters and has a song that repeats its full name by Asani Wasan, a Thai rock band. Name this city, known in his country as Krungtep Mahanakon Amon Ratanakosin, Mahintad Ayutthaya Mahadilokpop, Nopara Racha Tani Burirom, Udom Rachani Wet Mahasatan, Amon Pimama Watan Satit, Saka Tatia Witsanu Kamprasit, the capital of Thailand. Correct, Bangkok. Yeah. This royal house was included. This royal house included Frederick I, Burgrave of Nuremberg. This royal house included the 37th Grand Master of the Teutonic Order, Albrecht I. For the point, name this famous former royal house of Prussia and the German Empire, which's name comes from the county of Zollern and includes Frederick the Great, Kaiser Wilhelm II, and Queen Wilhelmina of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. No, okay. House of Hohenzollern. Thank you.
I think that was.
Good job. That was excellent. Yep. All right, good job, buddy. Well, I'm glad I'm not the only one that a fifth grader smarter than. So, all right, good. We're in good company here. All right, before we end our presentation celebrating the incredible achievements of Trishab, we would also like to acknowledge his parents. Your dedication and encouragement have been key to Trishab's journey. On behalf of the Osage School community, we wanted to extend a special thank you for being such a vital part of his success. You have shown us the incredible possibilities that come from believing in and supporting our students' dreams. Congratulations to you all. All right, thank you, board. Thank you for letting us share this moment with you. Thanks, Mr. Gould.
We just have a little gift on behalf of the Board of Education for your dedication, your commitment. Keep up the great work. You are fabulous. Keep up the great work.
We are immensely proud of you and thank you for making our district look so incredible. You are a remarkable example of hard work and dedication. So thank you.
Thank you once again. And just to all of our community members, each month we do have a presentation from each of our schools to showcase the talent that we have in this district. And this is just one example of the amazing talent in our school district. So again, I thank you and your family. Thank you very much.
Yes, please, of course.
His little jackets.
You are more than welcome to stay for the rest of the board meeting, but we also understand that this may not be everyone's jam. So you're more than welcome to leave if you guys would like, and we'll give you some time to do that. Thank you for sharing this special occasion with us.
Thank you.
I thought they were handing it out.
I'd also like to say thanks for everyone who came here today to celebrate this with me.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. You too.
Thank you. Okay, thank you again. At this time, we have another wonderful guest here. We have our very own Chief Bordy of the Voorhees Township Police Department, and he's going to come and talk about the partnership that we have, the wonderful partnership that we have with the Voorhees Police Department. So can we give Chief Bordy a round of applause? He's a very busy man, but he came here tonight to speak with us. So we appreciate you so much, Chief Bordy.
Good evening.
Good to see everyone. Thank you so much to the board for having me, and thank you to Dr. Hackett for inviting me to discuss school security tonight. Not nearly as exciting as what we just had, I'm sure, but what an amazing young man.
Yes.
So just to, I have a few notes just to try and keep me on track here. And brevity is going to be our friend here, and I'll answer any questions that you have. I want to start by talking about the working relationship that the Voorhees Police Department has enjoyed with the local school district and even the regional school district at the high school. That does not happen easily. It happens from a long history of collaboration together. I've been chief for 14 years. That consistency at the top always helps. I know that Ray Brosel was the superintendent for a long time. We had a great relationship with Ray and the board when he was here, but I can tell you Dr. Hackett has not missed a beat. Sometimes it can be difficult when there's a change at the top. Did not happen here. We had a meeting very early. We discussed safety and security vision for our school district, your school district, and it became a shared vision with the new leader for the school district. Just to talk a little bit about the history, like I said, I've been chief for 14 years. The chief before me was Keith Hummel. He was chief for 14 years also. So, and we've been integrated and worked on the relationship with the local school board for safety and security at all of our schools. I will tell you that we enjoy we've been leaders in school security, I'll say locally. That doesn't happen without the collaboration that we have together and the shared vision. Our program has been shared, I can tell you, all over the state of New Jersey, and people try to emulate or copy it. I'm proud to say we're always ahead of the curve when it comes to safety and security. Again, that doesn't happen by mistake. That happens because I have dedicated staff in the police department that works tirelessly towards school security. I have a deputy chief, a captain, a lieutenant, a sergeant, and police officers all dedicated to school security as part of their areas of responsibility, and they're very good at it. So the positive working relationship has been in place, it's been fostered, and it continues under Dr. Hackett's leadership for sure. So I'm glad to report that to you in the community. The next thing is collaborative projects that we've done. So we have integrated into our schools. There are police officers that work for the police department in our schools every hour of every day that students are on campus in every one of our local schools. The collaboration happens daily, right? But some of the projects I'll say that we were born out of our partnership was the static communication boards that we recently did that the school put up at every school. That came from, we learned about that at a key communicator meeting that we attend every quarter. I have members of my staff that are there along with the mayor, with Dr. Hackett and her staff. That goes a long way. We learned about it then. We have those boards in every single one of our parks in the township. So that's just one way that we collaborated and shared ideas and worked together. We have the leadership coin at Crescent School. That was born out of one of the school security officers who thought it would be a good thing. Came to the police department with the project after talking to the principal at the school. It was a very easy project to say yes to, and I find I have really good people, and I just say yes to a lot of really good projects that my staff brings to me a lot. So I'm proud of that. But that program we've been doing about 6 or 7 years. We're proud of that program. I think they issue the leadership coins or medallions at every graduation. So that's a nice project that we share together. I know recently we did a collaboration with the Camden County Prosecutor's Office for first and second grade reading event. This is just, these are things, they happen all the time. And that's because we are in the schools every day. Time doesn't really go by when I don't hear from our residents about their school security officer. They know them by name. They see the kids in the morning. They know the kids in the hallways. So that's an encouraging thing. And most of those, all of our school security officers are retired police officers, either from Voorhees or other towns. That's part of the agreement that we made, that we've shared with with all of you about sharing costs to help hire those people, maintain those people in our schools all the time. So that's some of the collaborative projects. The Uniform State Memorandum of Agreement. We could be here for like 3 hours if I really wanted to talk about that document. It could be like 100 pages, right? It's there. You know, if anyone wants to see or discuss that, we comply with it for sure every single year. We're aware of it. We always talk about the changes that happen every single year in that. But we definitely continue to have that conversation all the time. Talk a little bit about threats that happen and communication, right? They're always difficult for everybody. and they normally involve one of our students or multiple students. So the communication about those investigations, if we're involved, it's normally criminal in nature. So there's very little that we can say, and we would not want to violate the sanctity of the children or their families that are involved in that. I can assure you though, and we communicate with Dr. Hackett and the principals whenever we have an incident like that. But communication will normally happen from me and or the school district or the police department or the township. If there's some kind of ongoing threat where there's a threat to the students or their families or the teachers in the school, that's when we'll make a public comment about something. We will not make comments about active, open, ongoing investigations. We're restricted because the prosecutor's office is normally involved in that. So I would be violating the rules if I was out talking about it. And if I was going to talk about something, I would have to actually call them first and get permission to actually talk about it and run the statement by them. If you didn't know, every chief of police in New Jersey, we have more than one boss, right? I have a public safety director locally that's on my township committee. That's my boss. The prosecutor in our case, the Camden County prosecutor, is actually my boss and can give me orders and tell me what to do, contrary to what even my boss locally says. And then the New Jersey Attorney General is also my boss and has a lot of say about what I do and what I say and when I can even talk to the community, right? So there's a lot of people involved with those kind of notifications. I can assure you, if there is a threat to the community or the kids or the teachers, we're going to be talking about that and we'll be working on that. I'll give you a really easy example of something that you probably wouldn't think is a threat that we make notifications for all the time, right? A snowstorm, right? There's a threat to the kids, the buses coming to school, stuff like that. We communicate that with everyone about whether a school's going to be open, if roads were going to be opened or closed, if there's going to be bus service, stuff like that. We'll always communicate that. It's just not that there's a lot of rules when you're talking about a criminal investigation. And so when I speak to the superintendent, I normally say, if you're not sure, if you're thinking, should I call the police on this one or shouldn't I call the police? Just call. And then we'll let you know. We have that communication. We've done that. We'll let you know if it's something that touches something criminal, and then the school has to step back, and then the police department and all of our rules will have to operate in that space. But we'll always communicate with the superintendent. There's just times where we can't give information to the community, and that's really their guardrails set up for the protection of the kids and the families that are involved, right? So just to reiterate, if there's an ongoing threat, you'll hear from me and the superintendent about what we need you to do and in order to keep everybody safe, right? But I think that was an important thing to talk about because there's always accusations. Nobody's telling us anything. We want information. We don't know. Well, a lot of times we just can't tell you, right? Until there's a time eventually that information may be released. But a lot of times when it has just happened, there's rules for us about releasing information. I actually just talked about the limitations. Consequences for unauthorized information. All right, we live in New Jersey. There's 3 attorneys for every 5 people, right? The consequences are we're aware of what the consequences are for making a bad release. That's why I have to call the prosecutor first. I may talk to our solicitor before I release something. I certainly talk to the superintendent before I release something. So the consequences, there can be many, right? And the last thing you want to do is release something about a child or a family that gets out there. I don't really have to release anything. Social media will tell you everything you need to know, right? That's just the way it is. And we monitor social media. I always say that I tell my committee and my bosses, I can't let social media manage me, right? I will use social media. I will make sure I know what it says, but I can't respond every time someone makes a statement on social media. The example I always give is, did anyone hear that loud noise? like 81 comments later, and the 81st comment was, that was thunder. Right? Thunder. So you have to be careful about social media and how much you respond to it or react to it. But we definitely keep our eye on it and try to manage it, and we don't let it manage us. So I'm very proud of our program. Again, I've shared that program all over New Jersey. We've enjoyed locally here a fantastic relationship with all of you, with the school security as our focus and how we do it, and try to stay really ahead of the curve, right? I stayed away tonight from talking about our tactics and things we have in place, because it wouldn't be proper for me to have this great plan with everyone and tell everyone what it is, right? Or the things we have in place to protect everybody, right? But I can assure you that we have plans and mitigation plans for incidents and issues that we're very confident that we can handle. You should have confidence in the fact that your superintendent and the police department are in lockstep when it comes to school security and safety. We're proud of that. I go all over the state representing chiefs of police. I see when police departments and school boards are not in lockstep, and it really creates an unsafe environment in that community. So kudos to all of you for keeping that alive and well with us. And thank you, Dr. Hackett. You're a great advocate for it. That's kind of all I have about school security. I'll answer any questions anyone has. Oh, let me just say this. I apologize. It's No Shave November. I normally clean shaven, right? But I participate because it goes to a good cause. So any questions?
I have a
Anything?
question.
Sure.
I brought this up to the high school and I didn't get much response, but you guys do a great job protecting the kids during the school day. But my issue is after school with sports. This probably applies more here to the middle school. And at the high school, I could tell you there could be hundreds and hundreds of kids out there with no protection. And that's a big concern of mine as a parent. And I'm sure, you have people playing sports and not paying attention, and God forbid something happens. I mean, is there anything that could be put in place for after school sports and activities to protect these kids?
It's a great question. And we have identified that as an area of need. It comes, so what you have is there, I think at the high school, at least there's someone on staff. So there's school security officers, and we have 14 of them that cover all of our schools. And then there's 3 school resource officers, 2 at the high school and 1 at the middle school, right? So after school is difficult. It's hard to have, I know Eastern High School will have things up until 11 o'clock at night, right? So you're talking about,
More outside, because even
oh no, I agree. And I'm talking outside.
Yeah.
They've given me the number after school programs that they have with people in the school and athletics. It goes up to almost 11 o'clock every single night. So if you look at the hours and I have someone till 5 o'clock there, you're looking, do the math, someone do the math for me, right? We're at 5 to 11 times 5 days a week, times Saturday. There's an expense with all that. What I will tell you is we have police officers that during our roll calls, they know what school events are happening, and during their regular patrol, they all get sections of town that they have to work. There's 2 very close to the high school, or everyone covers one of them, and they'll go through during regular patrols. And then we can never do the job policing without the community. We depend on the community that's there. If something happens, that they call us, and we have a very quick response. What I'll tell you is our our school security officer program, it's what I identified really after, not Uvalde, not Columbine. We identified the gap in our response, right? The time it took from when the call came in, when something happened horrific at a school, to the time the cops got there, right? That time is what we tried to eliminate by having police officers in every school during the day when they're most vulnerable, right? When the schools are most vulnerable. That's why we did that, because the trauma was happening in 4 and 5 minutes. You can do a lot and hurt a lot of people in 4 or 5 minutes. And that's great response time if you're not in the school already. I'm happy to report that we have someone in every school every day. So there's someone there immediately going to wherever that is. So we cut response time to 0 during the school day, right? After school, it's another thing. You know, I'd be remiss if I didn't say that monetary is a consideration for us, right? You have to look at what it would cost and how many other people I would have to hire to cover them. There is police coverage in the whole town, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. We do depend on the partnership with parents and visitors to the school that may see or hear something and call and let us know. That's kind of the answer for that. It's a long answer. Sorry about that, but we've recognized that, and it's a really good point. But it's a consideration. Yeah. And look, the schools actually pay for after school hours depending on the event as a side job. So you'll still have officers there for bigger events, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
Good question though. Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you so much. Again, your partnership means a lot to us as well. And we appreciate you coming and sharing this information. It's really invaluable for the community to hear.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks.
Have a great night.
And I want to thank you as well. Thank you. It's a pleasure working with you. I just also would like to acknowledge Deputy Chief Harrington. Did she leave? Okay, she's back. Can you just wave? I just want to publicly acknowledge her as well because she's my 3 a.m. partner. When it's time to talk about school closing, I call her at 3 a.m. She answers the phone very nicely. So I just want to acknowledge you and thank you as well for everything that you do for the Voorhees Township Public Schools. Thank you. Okay, so I would now like to respond to a few questions that was asked at the October board meeting. The first question was, can we post pictures of board candidates on our website? And the response to that is school districts do not participate in campaigns or promotional activities. Can the community view grant applications? Grant applications may be available for public viewing upon request through the Open Public Records Act, but are subject to redaction of confidential information. And how do we ensure our secretaries are safe during lockdowns? We believe our current plan effectively addresses the role of secretaries during lockdowns. However, in December, a representative from the New Jersey Department of Education, Office of School Preparedness and Emergency Planning will conduct a walkthrough of several of our school buildings. The walkthrough will provide valuable feedback and suggestions for enhancing our safety protocols to ensure optimal safety of both staff and students. And the Voorhees Township Police Department will join us on that walkthrough for our partnership. We have a parent workshop on Tuesday, December 10th at 7 p.m. And the title is Navigating Social Media for Parents. So parents, please come out. We always send a reminder for these workshops, virtual workshops. You'll receive the link as a reminder, but all links are on our website. So I'm hoping that our parents join us. This is our most popular workshop. Again, Navigating Social Media on December the 10th at 7 o'clock. And as I end my comments, I want to say Thanksgiving is a time of reflection, providing an opportunity to express gratitude for all that has been bestowed upon us. In my role as superintendent of schools, I am deeply thankful for the talented and dedicated staff members of the Voorhees Township Public Schools. These individuals consistently demonstrate unwavering dedication and commitment to ensuring that our students receive the best possible educational experience. This expression of gratitude also extends to the committed and dedicated members of this Board of Education, who invest countless hours to guarantee an optimal education environment for our students. And I'm equally appreciative to all of our parents who have entrusted us with the education of their children. As we approach Thanksgiving, I extend my heartfelt wishes to the entire Voorhees Township Public Schools family for a time filled with an abundance of joy, peace, and happiness. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Board President, that ends my report.
Excellent. We have a couple of committee reports. I thought I skipped. Miss Branch Stewart, can I get a policy committee report?
Certainly. The policy committee met for over an hour on November 20th. We had a very productive meeting. For first read, the committee reviewed and recommends for board approval the following regulation as revised. Regulation 5600, Student Discipline Code of Conduct. For second read, the committee reviewed and recommends for board approval the following revised policies. Policy 8454, Management of Pediculosis, and Policy 8600, Student Transportation. The committee also discussed Policy 0167, Public Participation in Board Meetings, which after much discussion and consideration, the committee has decided to not revise at the current time. Policy 2365, acceptable use of generative artificial intelligence. The committee will review this policy again in the new year. Data dashboard reporting to be provided by Dr. Hackett to the board on a regular basis. We received a very thorough update by VMS Principal Ms. Inge regarding the cell phone ban pilot program recently implemented at the middle school for the second marking period. We discussed board committee engagement and involvement. And lastly, the committee discussed a pitch a policy pilot program. Say that fast 3 times. In which we review policy suggestions from key district and community stakeholders. And the next policy committee meeting will be scheduled for January. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I get a personnel committee report from Ms. Kedover?
Sure. So the Personnel Committee met on November 5th, 2024. Dr. Hackett was there, as well as Sue Donnelly, myself, Mr. Bryce, Mrs. Rudder, Mr. Rosner, and our attorney, Alicia Danella. We held this committee meeting to address an HIB appeal from a Voorhees student with an out-of-district placement. We were provided a summary of the facts in advance of the hearing. And during the hearing, the parent of the alleged target, who is the Voorhees resident, explained the situation and the impact. The committee recommended to affirm the outcome of Yale's investigation, and the committee's recommendation was provided to the full board. And that is my report.
Thank you very much. Technology committee report, Ms. Verdi.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Sorry, I turned it off instead of on. The technology committee met on November 18th at 6 o'clock for about an hour. We discussed a few things, including the AI district plan. The committee reviewed the revised plan and agreed the revised plan addressed many of the concerns that we had in the original draft, and that it is a comprehensive document. The committee asked for several minor revisions, including a process for how to document and address AI technology issues and feedback that might arise when staff and students are using AI tools. We also requested a clearer statement of what level of changes to the plan would rise to the level of board approval. We also addressed tasks of AI oversight and which committee should be tasked with that. And there was agreement that the technology committee is the appropriate committee of jurisdiction for all AI related work. We addressed a couple of answers to questions about general technology plans. We briefly addressed attendance tracking for student clubs, satisfaction surveys, the issue of the recording with the October 2024 board meeting, and after school tutoring. We also discussed the possibility of recording parent workshops in the future and whether or not that would be possible. The committee is planning to meet again on January 27th virtually, but if there are no agenda items to discuss, we'll postpone that meeting. So it's to be determined. Thank you.
Thank you. Audience participation. Anyone wishing to address the board, please approach the side table on the right and write your name and address on the login sheet. While the board is limited in its ability to respond to the public on matters involving personnel, litigation, negotiations, and attorney-client privilege, the board will now hear comments from the public relating to items on the agenda for this board meeting. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. The board will not take action this evening. You will be notified at some later time by letter, electronic mail, telephone, or in the context of a later board meeting of any action the board does take. All right, we like our regulars.
Good evening. Happy Thanksgiving also, and congratulations to the board members on re-election. Also wanted to congratulate Connie Bittner, who is instructional associate retiring at the end of the December, I believe. And I just had just a couple of, not questions, but just points for the discipline, 5660, the discipline, 560, 5600 for the discipline. I just had a couple areas that I think we might want to look at. So like on arson, assault, like the superintendent's not notified on arson. Now I am assuming that would probably go up to them, but it's just, I went through all the things and that one wasn't listed. For assault, I would think by the second offense, maybe just be standard practice. And on assault on a staff member, and I know we did a nice job of doing K through 2, 3 through 5, and middle school. But as an elementary, after the third offense, they're still not notified. So I would just feel, even though I know the superintendent would be notified, I figure we should probably put it in there, so make sure it's not overlooked. And the falsifying of fire alarm or a system. So I know sometimes there's extenuating circumstances based on the student's IP and stuff. However, the superintendent's not notified till the third offense. I would say by the second, if it's the same person falsifying a fire alarm. And I'd also put in there that they might have to pay the money back for the false call they come. So I think after we get one freebie and after that, the district gets charged. Once again, years ago, we had issues that we were on lockdown and stuff like that a lot. So I figured just add that in there. You know, to make note, once again, I'm sure there's extenuating services on disability, but it can be a pretty scary situation. And I figure since we're looking at the policy, it might be a good time to stat that in there. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no other comments, board member comments? Okay, moving on to the agenda. So after much discussion and our board meeting last month, we did some benchmarking against other districts to talk about our process and making sure that the community understands the agenda and how we work through the agenda. So we have added the following statement to our board meetings, and I'm going to read that now. And it will come at this point of every meeting. As we move into the business portion of our meeting, we want to recognize that it may appear as if the board takes action with very little comment, and in many cases, a unanimous vote. Before an item is placed on a board agenda, it is thoroughly reviewed by the superintendent and administration. The superintendent then presents the recommended action to the appropriate board committee and works with the committee to ensure that the members fully understand the recommendation. Once the committee is satisfied, the item is placed on the board agenda for discussion and action at a public meeting. Board agendas are made available to the board members several days in advance of the meeting, giving us ample time to review the agenda and have all of our questions answered. Further, we are kept up to date between the meetings on the ongoing work of the administration and the important issues in the district. All of these efforts ensure that we are all well informed and prepared to take action at our meetings. Moving into policy, can I get a motion to approve all of the items under policy?
So moved. Stewart.
Second.
All right, so someone said it second.
Online voting is open.
How come the board members weren't advised of that statement being read prior to just now? I mean, I didn't know anything about that. And why was it read before? I mean, after our chance for comment on the agenda and not before? Why weren't we notified about it?
I just want to reiterate, I also did not see that statement before it was just read aloud just now, and would have appreciated if it's a statement of the board that the whole board as a whole would have been made aware and have an opportunity to discuss.
Who votes? Mr. Rosen? Okay, I can take it verbally.
Aye.
Ms. Verdi?
Yeah, it also didn't come up for me. Aye.
A motion passes.
Moving to curriculum, motion to approve all items under curriculum.
So moved.
Second.
Online voting is open. Mr. Rosen?
Aye.
Ms. Verdi? Motion passes.
Motion to approve all items under personnel as recommended by the superintendent.
So moved. Rudder?
Second, Stewart.
I have a few questions on personnel. My first question is 16.2 instructional associate observation matrix. Why is this needed? And good instructional associates are hard to come by, and I hope this isn't making their job any harder. And I'm just curious why this is a new addition. And my other question is under more substitute school principal approvals. I thought we approved a list. I think it's a huge expense for the district. And we operated many years without them. So I'm just wondering why we keep adding names. Those are my two questions.
Okay, 16.2, the instructional matrix. We are just updating the evaluation tool. It's definitely not going to be anything that would cause us not to retain our instructional associates. It's actually a better tool that will give them much more feedback and support for the work that they do. The previous tool was not something that I believe provided them with the feedback and support that they need to do their job. So we are updating the evaluation tool to make it more user-friendly and to provide them with the appropriate feedback.
Is this full-time employees or part-time employees?
It's for all instructional associates. It's their annual evaluation tool. And as far as substitute principals, I know we spoke about this in the past. I understand that previously we did not use substitute principals, but times have changed. And I do not think that a building should ever operate without a leader in the building or someone who has the principal certification. Something can happen in the matter of seconds, and there needs to be a certified person in that building to maintain order and to provide directions on how to make sure that students and staff are safe. So the use of substitute principals has already been approved. These are just additional people because the list that we had last year, one person is no longer wanting to do that. They're going to do something else. And then someone else took a long-term interim job for 2 years, so they are not on the list. So we only have one person as of now, so we're adding more people. I understand your point. You made it before that you didn't think that this was something that we should be doing. However, I completely disagree, and I believe we need to have a certified person in every building when the principal is absent.
Can I just ask one follow-up question for 16.2? Would it be possible in the future when there are updates to matrix like this, if we could see what was done before, just to have that comparison when we're making decisions to see so we understand what exactly we're voting on that we're updating? Thank you.
I don't have an issue. Is that the evaluation like a template? You want to actually see the template?
Well, just what was done before. So do we understand what's being changed? It just would be helpful to understand.
Okay, thank you.
Online voting is open. Motion unanimously passes.
Can I get a motion to approve all of the items under transportation?
So moved.
Second.
Online voting is open. Motion unanimously passes.
Can I get a motion to approve all of the items under buildings and grounds?
So moved, Rudder. Second, Cadover.
Online voting is open. Motion unanimously passes.
Can I get a motion to approve all of the items under finance?
So moved.
Second,
Online voting is open. Motion unanimously passes.
Public comment. Anyone wishing to address the board, please approach the side table on the right and write your name and address on the login sheet. While the board is limited in its ability to respond to the public on matters involving personnel, litigation, negotiations, and attorney-client privilege, the board will now hear comments from the public. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. The board will not take action this evening. You will be notified at some later time by letter, electronic mail, or telephone, in the context of a later board meeting of any action the board does take.
On June 12th, I think it was, there's a organizational chart for the district that's always existed, except for one thing. What was removed from that chart is that on top of the Board of Education, it was the public and the community, and that's been taken off, and I think it needs to be put back on, especially after I reviewed a cursory review of the authoritarian rant that Ms. Ketover gave, which is a total impediment of people's First Amendment rights. Thank you.
Seeing no other comments from board members?
I have a few comments. As this is my last meeting, I wanted to share some of my final thoughts with everybody. I ran for the Board of Education to represent the special education community. But once I was elected, I realized what I was up against. I've served on many boards in my adult life, and I've never been part of such a toxic group. Every one of us is elected to represent our community, and we are all equal with the exception of the president who runs the meeting. Unfortunately, that's not the environment that has been created here in Voorhees. The board's priorities are not the children, teachers, or community members, but their own power over what I still don't know. As a board member, if you decide to question the agenda or anything that is being done in the district, which is our job, especially when large amounts of money are being spent, you are deemed the enemy. As most of you have witnessed, our president has publicly berated me, and you should see some of the emails she sends. And she also blind copies other board members to intimidate them to not do the same as I do. This is not how our district should be run. We are elected to do a job, to hold the district accountable to our stakeholders. What kind of example is this setting for our children? Sorry, I lost my place. We are, sorry, I totally lost my place. What kind of example are we setting for our youth? My fellow board members, you are not here just to say yes. If that is the case, then why do you sit here every month? Resign your seat and give that opportunity to someone that will take the job seriously and will ask the hard questions. I think it is so important to have different perspectives and backgrounds and ask hard questions. How will we ever be better if we are too scared to ask questions? I feel as I've let a lot of people down by not running again, but I could not do it anymore. There's only so few of us that are up here for the right reasons, and unless more of the community steps up, we will not have any change. I've been so fortunate to meet so many wonderful people in this community, and I know they will remain my friends. Thank you.
Okay, I have a comment as well. Just give me 1 second to pull it up. All right, again, I feel the need to address the board president's statement. Again, this is sort of a reiteration of last month and what Mrs. Kedover said. And again, as a parent and elected member of this board, I feel strongly that my role is not to be merely a rubber stamp. I believe my role is to ask questions, make informed decisions for the betterment of this community at large, and to be a voice to the communities who do not have a voice in decision-making. And the president and the vice president's voices on this board are no more important than the 7 other voices on this board, and we all have 1 vote. And again, maybe I'm wrong, but I think that the public wants to hear us ask questions and do our jobs. They want to see us make fiscally sound decisions, to make policy, and to be a check on the administration when necessary, and to understand why we are voting the way we are. So I think it's imperative for us to speak and talk to the public about why we are voting the way that we are. So I implore my fellow board members to do that and not just bend to the will of the board president and vice president here. I also want to say that today is Mrs. Stupler's last meeting, and this is really what I had planned to say today. And I wanted to take a moment to acknowledge her service and contributions to our district. I'm not going to beat around the bush. When I arrived at my first board meeting and saw the seating arrangements and that I'd be seated next to Mrs. Stupler, I was less than thrilled, coming with preconceived notions of the person she was due to how I'd seen her treated at board meetings and the way others described her character. I was so wrong. I had no idea then that Mrs. Stupler had so much to teach me and that she would become someone I consider a dear colleague and friend. We absolutely do not agree on everything. We come from different walks of life and different ideological and political backgrounds. We're probably the most liberal and conservative members of the board. I stay true to my values, she stays true to hers, and more often than not, those values aren't as different as I thought they would be, especially in the context of board duties. And with mutual respect and kindness, we developed a strong working relationship with a guiding light of just trying to do the right thing, even if it doesn't necessarily make you friends on this board. Randy cares about the children of our district and this community at large. And even when we don't completely agree on issues or tactics, I appreciate that she does the work, she reads the materials, she asks questions, she takes her role seriously, and she's not afraid to make waves when necessary. She's never been here to make friends or be self-important. She's been laser focused on doing the work. She's been put through the ringer and still shows up despite the personal toll it took on her because again, she cares. So Randy, I want to thank you for your service to our community and for being a great neighbor on this dais and for reminding me not to judge a book by its cover or by the colored opinion of others. I wish you well in your retirement from the board. Finally, with Thanksgiving and the holiday season approaching, I want to wish the community a whole well. May it be a time full of love, light, family, laughter, and good health.
Seeing no other board comments, we will be going out for executive session. It will be short. We do not expect to take any action. So whereas Open Public Meetings Act authorizes the Board of Education to meet in executive session under certain circumstances, whereas the Open Publics Meeting Act requires the board to adopt a resolution at a public meeting to go into private session. Now therefore be it resolved by the Voorhees Township Board of Education that it is necessary to meet in executive session to discuss certain items involving matters involving personnel issues, including but not limited to the employment, appointment, termination of employment, terms and conditions of employment, evaluation of performance, promotion or discipline of any public officer or employee. Be it further resolved that any discussion held by the board, which need not remain confidential, will be made public as soon as feasible. The minutes of the executive session will not be disclosed until the need for confidentiality no longer exists. Further resolved that the board will return to open session to conduct business at the conclusion of the executive session. But again, we do not expect to take any action.
Motion.
Yeah, can I get a motion to adjourn to executive session?
So moved.
Second, Rudder.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to return from executive session?
So moved.
Second, Rudder.
All in favor?
Aye. I think that's the record for the fastest executive session. I just want it to be on the record. Next regular meeting is January 6th, 2025. It will be the board reorganization meeting. It will be held here at the administration building at 7 p.m. Can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Meeting adjourned.